welcome to Sundays in Song. This Sunday we'll be observing the Feast of All Saints, and the choir has some beautiful music to offer on this, one of the principal feast days in the Anglican Communion. One such offering is the sumptuous motet for double choir, Faire is the Heaven, by British composer William H. Harris. This ecstatic work is based on poetry by Edmund Spenser and takes us on a journey ascending ever higher and higher, experiencing the beauties of, quote, endless perfectness. One aspect that is frequently woven into this feast day is a spirit of remembrance. In that vein, then, we are excited to share the world premiere of a piece by Pennsylvania composer Erica Ball, who has set text from the beloved hymn, Abide with Me. I recently had the opportunity to speak with Erica about this piece and her compositional life. I'm here today with Erica Ball. I'm thrilled to welcome you to this Sundays in Song series, and we're thrilled to be giving the world premiere of your piece, Abide with Me. And it's always special to give a world premiere, and I know that this piece has resonance with you, and I know the text has resonance with me and many other people who are familiar with the hymn text. So thank you so much for being here and agreeing to talk about your piece a little bit.
Thanks. I'm so glad the piece is finally seeing the light of day. There was a different congregation in Pennsylvania that was originally going to do it, but their schedule is booked for years in advance.
Right.
So
Yeah.
great that you guys can do it.
Yeah, we're thrilled to, and I think it will go wonderfully with our liturgy of All Saints, and as we remember people who have passed. And I was wondering, could you tell me a little bit about the process of writing the piece and what it means to you personally?
Sure. So I was raised Jewish. My mom's Jewish, and my dad's just sort of non-believing at this point. But my father's parents are Presbyterian, and my grandfather has been studying piano with me for the last couple of years. And we have these wonderful, interesting conversations about music. And one day he came to his piano lesson and he starts complaining about what they had been hearing in church lately. He said, "Oh, they're programming all this new music, and it's awful sounding, and it's so dissonant, and it doesn't make me feel spiritual." And I'm like, "Well, you could fix that, Grandpa. You could ask the composer sitting next to you to write a new piece of music." So that's what he did. He asked me to write a piece, and he said, "I would love to hear a piece of new music that feels spiritual to me in the same way that the traditional music does." So I chose a traditional text. This is a text that he actually picked out. He grabbed his hymn book, marked down the ones that had special meaning for him. And I picked this one because I could approach it being Jewish. It was also something that was accessible for me. You'll notice that in some versions of the hymn text, there's references to Christ. I took those out just so that it would be more comfortable for me as a Jewish person to work with it. So it's really a text that's applicable to all faiths, I think. It's that of comfort, of feeling that you're one with a higher power. And so I wanted it to be spiritual. I wanted it to be reflective, inward, and sort of quiet but powerful. That was my vision for the piece.
I think that's great, and I think that comes across. There's these wonderful lines in it that are very chant-like, but then they sort of blossom into these sort of interesting and flavorful chords that that definitely have a power and a depth to them. And I think the shape is very nice as we get to traverse those different places. Was this your first time writing for choir, or had you written for choirs in the past?
I've written two other choir pieces before. Adon Olam, which is a Jewish prayer. It's one of the Psalms, I believe, or a translation of it. And I wrote that for a choir that was premiered in New York City. And then I did a setting of a Carl Sandburg poem.
Beautiful.
So this is my first text for the church in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it works very well in there. We just this past week we sang Chichester Psalms, so we're certainly familiar with pieces that may that are applicable, that are universally applicable to many spiritual traditions and many faiths coming together. And music is such a wonderful way to have sort of a central meeting ground for all sorts of different people of different backgrounds. So I think that works very, very nicely. Well, what are you working on right now?
Well, right now, I just within the past, I guess, month and a half, I became the executive director of a new music ensemble.
Beautiful.
So I've been doing that and tackling all those administrative responsibilities. And then the ensemble actually requested that I write a new piece for them. So I'm working on a piece called The Spotted Lanternfly, and it's going to be a multimedia collaboration with the Almanac Dance Circus Theater based in Philadelphia.
Wow.
And it'll be dance and music. We're going to perform the program twice at two arboretums in the area. And the concept is roughly there's this insect that's come to Pennsylvania. It's originally from Asia, and it's attacking the hardwoods in the Pennsylvania area, specifically the southeastern portion of PA. And we're actually under quarantine
Oh my
because
gosh.
this bug is so invasive and has the ability to spread so easily. So it's sort of to raise environmental awareness about this, about invasive species and ecology. So we'll see how the piece goes. It's still in the very preliminary planning stages at the moment, but I'm excited to be working on it.
It's always a difficult thing to be balancing those preliminary stages with how you see the piece ultimately, where you see it going, and that's always a challenge. This has been wonderful to get a chance to learn about your music, to learn about your process, and how you've balanced this text. We're really looking forward to premiering this piece this week. Thank you so much for spending some time and helping us to learn a little bit about it and about you as a composer.
Thank you. I really hope that, obviously, my grandfather won't be there in person to hear the piece, but I hope that for some of you, it's new music that also feels spiritual and appropriate for your worship.
I think it will. I'm confident of that. So thank you so much for writing the piece and sharing it with us. And everyone should check out Erica Ball, composer. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you find this music meaningful, and we look forward to sharing it and much besides with you this Sunday. For Sundays in Song, I'm Douglas Buchanan, and I look forward to singing with you.